Hello everyone, I'm Kim Lamberty and I'm the Director of University Engagement for Catholic Relief Services U.S. Operations. And we're here right now with Baptiste Talle, who is one of CRS's great peacebuilders on the continent of Africa. So I'm going to let Baptiste introduce himself and tell you a little bit about what his role is for CRS and the kind of work that he does.
Thanks. Good morning for you all. I'm Baptiste Talle, as she said. I'm based in Cameroon, and I'm one of the Africa Justice and Peace Working Group member. I'm focused more on Great Lake region and also on Central Africa Republic. Trying to provide some advices, trying also to help people to build peace among themselves and also with other groups.
So I heard you say you are working in two different regions in Africa. One is the Great Lake region, which is Burundi, Rwanda, I think, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and the other is Central Africa Republic. So if you wouldn't mind to start out, tell us about your work in the Great Lakes region.
Maybe I'm not going to talk about all what we did in the Great Lake region, but I can focus on only one topic.
Okay.
And this is one of the projects we try to initiate in the Great Lake region called COSOPAX. This means in French, Commerçantes solidaires pour la paix dans la région des Grands Lacs. It's a project bringing together trade women, small trade women from Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC. You may remember that between these three countries, there are a lot of prejudice due to the past and long-standing conflict that was between these three countries. And usually, people from Rwanda or people from DRC believe that the other as just, how can I say, are just enemy. And the aim of this project was first to bring these women to, how can I say, to overcome the prejudice and started living together and accepting each other from borders. This was a trans-borders project.
So essentially what you're saying is that there's been a long-standing conflict between the people of these three countries. There's prejudice that has existed for a long period of time, and the CRS project that you are part of is trying to overcome that prejudice.
For sure, yeah. That is a good explanation.
Great. So, and can you explain to us kind of the details of that project?
Let's say the methodology we used to bring them. First, let's say that first we had to go through the Peace and Justice Commission
of the dioceses.
We work with 4 dioceses, 2 from DRC, 1 from Rwanda and 1 from Burundi. And with the Peace and Justice Commission, we selected women who did not know each other before. And by bringing them together, we try to provide them with some training and accompaniment so that they can overcome the personal prejudice and have a positive view of themselves and also a positive view of others to bridge with others. And by doing this, we use a methodology called the 3 Bs.
3 Bs.
3 Bs, that means the first one is binding, bridging. And with the 3 Bs, the first step is to bring people to think about themselves. But we combine this methodology with the appreciative inquiry.
Appreciative inquiry. And can you explain a little bit about that?
Let's say for us, appreciative inquiry is based on the principle that when you have positive view of yourself, you can build good relationship with others. So we bring these women first to think positively about themselves, to change the hatreds they have. Because when in a conflict situation, we discover that you hate even yourself, and you hate other people who are around you. So we bring these people through this methodology, first to think positively about themselves, to change their own lenses, and then to go to the community and try to change the lenses of the community, and then bridge with other community.
It's a really interesting insight that conflict starts with self-hatred first. not hatred of the other. And so to address it and to get to the root of it, you have to start with your own self-esteem.
Esteem, yeah, we experiment that every day. People in the context of conflict think that themselves they don't have any value, and they can die, they can be killed. There is no problem.
Right.
That's why they can go to war.
Right, they don't value their own lives, so they don't value the lives of others.
Yeah, that is one of the conclusions we found working in this field. And what we did also, there is this peace part of training, but we try also to associate to the training some, some activities to increase women economic power. This women economic power, and we use the program SILK, for instance.
Right, so SILK in the English acronym stands for Savings and Internal Lending Communities. It is a microfinance program that CRS sponsors all over the world, especially in Africa. It's for small producers and small business people to assist them in increasing their livelihoods.
Yeah, and that is what we try to do with these women. And after a year of this program, you can see women from these 3 countries who did not know each other coming together, exchanging even money among themselves to work together. Let's say I can use maybe just a sample stories that came from this project. A woman from DRC, from Congo, was about to stop going to the market because she was lacking fund. But a woman from Rwanda, these are really 2 countries that are not in...
They don't get along well.
No. So a woman from Rwanda decided just to give some goods to these women from Congo who can sell and then give back the money. And these women keep going. And from this communication, 2 families started to pay visit to each other, and now there is a very strong link among these women.
So the work that you're doing is really building bridges between families, communities, and countries that have not been at peace with one another.
Yes, that is really what we are trying to do with this project. And the aim is also that these women doing very little trade, we are hoping that by strengthening the capacity, they will be able to advocate for peace amongst the region.
Can I ask why you are focusing on women?
Yes, when we did the assessment to start the project, we did not think about women at the beginning.
Interesting.
Because usually, when people speak about peace, they find leaders.
Right, that's why I was wondering.
We also wanted to work with the leaders, and for the target group when we went in the field was the priest. We wanted to work with the priest, but when we did the assessment, we came to a conclusion that these trade women, their daily life, they have to cross borders and to meet with other people, and when they cross borders, they already have, how can I say, some things on which we can work to build peace, to build this cross-border peace.
I see. So the women are already in contact with other women across the border. So you're building on what already exists.
That's really what happened. And we also found that women has more potentiality to touch with all members of the community. And when these little women start speaking, everybody is listening to them. That's why we really choose to work with these women.
So the women have more influence.
They have more influence, but sometimes they are not aware of the influence they have.
Because they don't have the title of leadership.
Of leadership in the community. And we found that by working with these women doing little trade, things could go deeply in the community than people who just came as leaders to discuss. And then when they discuss, they have some rules, but these rules are not applied. And we found that maybe by applying the rules, by bringing the community's member to be part of the peace process, this could help really to build bridges among this population.
It sounds really great, and I could talk for I think we could talk for a long time about that. But we'd also like to hear about your work in Central African Republic, where I know the conflict has been very intense, and I can imagine the work there is extremely difficult.
Yeah, for sure. In Central Africa, it was different.
Yes.
It was not the same situation on the Great Lake. You may remember that the conflict arose with this group called Seleka, who came to overthrow out of power a president. But when they arrived, this group was mostly Muslims. It's not just Muslim, but it was mostly Muslim. When this group arrived, there was a lot of attack against Christians. And finally, another group came called Anti-Baraka to fight against this group. And this conflict became like a religious conflict.
Right, so almost like a Christian versus Muslim conflict.
And so we went there through religious leaders just this time, because we found that people whose voice is heard by the population are mostly religious leaders. And in Central Africa, we use the same methodology, but to train now religious leaders, first from Catholic groups, from Protestant group, and then from Muslim group, and to bring them together to decide for a plan of action to go and advocate and sensitize and mobilize population for social cohesion.
What's really interesting to me about what you're saying is how you've contextualized the approach. In other words, for the Great Lakes region, you did an assessment and you recognized that the path to success was to focus on women, whereas in the Central African Republic, you did an assessment and you recognized that the path to success was working with religious leaders.
Yes, yeah, that's really what. In Central Africa, you may find that now the peace is coming. And I think when you go there and speak with people at the community level, they recognize that these three religious leaders from Catholic, from Protestant, and from Muslims are really key people who contribute to the peace that is coming back to the country. And we are behind the scene, working with these three religious leaders, accompanying them, providing them with some advices, helping them to train other people to disseminate this idea of bringing together Muslim and Christian to work together for peace.
So, how long have you been with Catholic Relief Services?
I started with CRS in 1999.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah.
And tell me from your perspective, and you've described some different aspects of your work on the African continent. From your perspective, what is unique about the way that CRS works to build peace in Africa?
I think what is really unique for CRS to work for peace is the fact that CRS is working based on the principles of Catholic social teaching. I really believe, because I know other organizations, the fact that we work through religious leaders, and the fact that our work is based on these Catholic social teaching principles give us a unique situation to work behind the scenes, but very, very successfully with people.
And what gives you hope in your work after all these years?
Maybe to speak about the hope, maybe I can speak about what are the great frustration we have.
Please.
Maybe the greatest frustration in peacebuilding work is normally social change need to take time. And usually we work with programs, with projects that end maybe after 1 year, 2 years, and so on. Why normally we should be having some sustainability in what we have been doing.
Right.
And sometimes you felt that, oh, there are a lot to do, but what we are doing, is it going to do real change?
Right.
But from that we have hope, because we discover working through the Catholic social teaching that each of us has a role in the society. And our role is just to put in the soil the seeds. The seeds. And when you put the seeds, you are not the one making it grow. And we found that when you do it, really things grow without you. And this, our hope is really that the seeds of peace we are putting in the ground in Africa can grow, and we see that it's growing, and we hope that even after us, there are people who will benefit from fruit for this work we are doing today.
Yeah, and for the United States, it seems like the message is we need to be patient, that change is not going to happen overnight, but that we are planting seeds in important places and in important communities that will bear fruit later, we believe.
Yeah, that is really a good message for the United States, and also maybe the other message I can send is to remember that we are all in the same boat. The world is like a boat in which we are all together. And each of us has to pay attention of others. And this is why I also love to work for CRS, who is talking that solidarity will transform the world.
Yes.
And we believe that this interconnection between people from United States, from Africa, from all over the world, will bring us to have a better world to live in. And really I found that what you are doing in the United States have an impact on our society. And what we are doing there also have an impact on your society. So we need to remember that we are all in the same boat and to work together to have a better world to live in.
Thank you so much, Jean-Baptiste. I don't even want to comment on that. It was so inspiring. So thank you for that, and I think you've all heard the call to solidarity.